All right, welcome everybody to our MLS Monday. It is a beautiful day here in Southwest Florida. We have an exciting topic here that has to do with artificial intelligence. We've had a lot of conversation around this. We've done a lot of research, and this is a conversation that every conference I've been at basically talks about kind of where AI is going and is this here to stay and what can it do to help me with my business. So it's a great topic to have. I'm going to start out by going through and doing one of my infamous disclosures for you. And that disclosure is um, basically, I'm not your broker. I'm not your attorney, and I'm not a therapist. So that is my disclosure. Um, and so the other part of that is I have no ownership, financial interest, or sponsorship affiliation with any of the products or services or programs discussed in this presentation. So I'm not getting paid by them. It's stuff that I may use. And if I am a user of a particular product, I will clearly state so, talk about my own experience with it. I receive no compensation benefit any kind from any of the companies or solutions mentioned. So just so everybody's aware, I'm not here to push you to buy something. I'm not employed by any of these folks, obviously. So just to make it clear, people are say, well, why did you talk more about the stuff that we use in the MLS? So I'm going to talk about those things. You're also welcome to take pictures of any of the slides that we show. So there'll be things that you'll see there. You'll take pictures of it. Feel free to do so for your own records as we go through and we start to go through some of this. So as we dive in, I'm telling you what I'm not. Again, I'm not your attorney, not your broker. I'm not a therapist. But what am I? So what I am really is a nerd. For those of you that know me or know of me, I'm a complete nerd. I geek out at this AI stuff. I think machine learning's been out a long time. It just caught some traction recently. Probably the most infamous is ChatGPT, and many of you use that. But being able to understand and be able to take your business next level is kind of where I think this is important. And we're going to talk about some of the tools that are out there to help you truly be that concierge service to your customers. Because I believe that, to me, AI is exciting as somebody that practiced real estate for 18 years, that you'll be able to actually go out there and use some of this stuff to make your lives easier. And some of the software that's been out there, let's be honest, has not done that for us. So as we look at the global artificial intelligence marketplace and size, AI growth is a focus. It'll be a $1.3 trillion in sales by 2032. So it's a huge growth potential. So a lot of people are getting on this. A lot of people are creating software, and it's getting better by the day. If you take some of the stuff that came out early and you replace it with stuff that just came out, it's half the price, and it works better than the old stuff that came out a year and a half ago. So it is growing exponentially. So you'll see that as well. All right. So want to give you kind of a visual on that. As we move on here, this is from Jeff Bezos, Amazon CEO. He talks about, here's his quote: "We're at the beginning of a golden age of AI. Recent advancements have already led to an invention that previously lived in the realm of science fiction. And we've only scratched the surface of what's possible." And I totally believe that. I do believe that search with regards to real estate will get better. There's already people working on that. I got to spend time in Toronto 2 weeks ago at the CMLS conference and sit with some of these innovators that are making some of the software where your customer yourself can say, I'm looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a pool that has less than 8 minutes to open water on a canal that has been built in the last 8 years, that has redone their roof, whatever the case may be, right? And any of that stuff that's in the MLS, it will be able to pull that information out and give it to you. That search is being built. So the advancements, and as quick as this is growing, is earth-shattering. So as we look at this, I'm just going to share one more quote with you by Scott Galloway. a lot of people ask, AI is going to take my job. AI is going to be able to sell real estate. Here's the deal. AI will not be able to sell real estate. Will it be able to put a transaction together? Absolutely. But people buy from people, right? So his quote is AI won't take your job. Someone using AI will. So adoption is important. This is where we're going with stuff. And, I think we're probably above and beyond our times when we started doing things with Alexa years ago with search on voice through Alexa, and the adoption rate was very low. It wasn't where things were going. But today, you've got that ability to do a lot of things. I mean, just think about the stuff you can do. You buy voice through Alexa, you can order your entire Amazon order with your voice walking and, walking through your house or doing the dishes or whatever, right? That's all artificial intelligence. So it's been there for a long time. It's just getting better today as we go through that. So what I'm going to do in kind of the structure of this today is going to be going through a lot of different software packages and software that's out there. I'm going to talk about the things that are out there. We're going to go through two separate elements of this. We're first going to go through the stuff that affects, that is truly what I call real estate centric, right? The stuff that is for realtors like yourself. And then we're going to talk about business in general. Every single one of you are entrepreneurs. You wake up every day unemployed, right? And you're looking for new business. And there's things that you need to keep track of. So think of mileage, think of accounting, those types of things. There's things out there that's going to help you with that in your business. There's things that can help you with your email. And even though that's not real estate centric, right? Everybody's got email. There's AI out there to help you with that. So we're going to go through and talk about those AI parts of it and how to get that concierge service and how to leverage this. Now, I'm not going to discuss any kind of pricing models. Some of these will have good, better, best. Some will be free and will give you a trial. I always tell you, I trial a lot of stuff. I use a lot of stuff and trial it up. I set alarms for those trials, notifications in my email or my calendar rather, that will actually notify me through email that says, hey, your subscription that's free for XYZ is coming due in 2 days. Cancel it or you'll be charged $39.95 a month, whatever it may be. So if you're going to trial something, go ahead and set that up so it alerts you so you're not going to bleed over on that. So the first one we talk about here is called Sync, and it's Commissions Inc. It's AI lead generation and client nurturing. And this is kind of a really cool tool. It's intelligent lead scoring. So when you look at leads, when people talk about leads, there's always two very fundamental issues with leads. Number one, they don't know how to generate enough leads, right? Because leads are top of funnel. When you talk about, sales of bottom funnel, leads are top of funnel and how you nurture them through. If there's a way to score these leads, and I did a video about this a couple of weeks ago, if there's a way for you to score this through intelligent lead scoring using AI algorithms, it's going to say, you know what, this person here is probably a little bit more likely to turn into a sale. Because if you're pulling a lot of leads in, for anybody that's pulled a lot of leads, at one point in time, we were generating about 300 or 400 leads a month. If I had a scoring system, I'd be like, these are 30 that are really, really about to be something special and turn into some income and be able to turn into clients. And these other ones out here are either scrolling and they can't sleep at night, so they're on your platform that you're pulling this from, or they're on another platform, or they're just kicking the tires right now. And it's something they have maybe on their playbook, but it's not for 3 or 4 years out. So there's those types of things as well. So intelligent lead scoring is where this really does a very good job of it. Automated follow campaigns. Again, those have been around for a long time, but the AI behind it triggers behavior, right? So if it's kind of that if this then type of mentality. So if this person goes out and looks at least 4 properties and changes bedrooms or size or garage or pool or whatever, then this takes place over here. So it really says, very intelligently, it's just not this automated follow-up. Hey, I hope things are going well with you, or whatever may be automatically in that drip campaign. This is truly AI looking at their behavior and what they're looking at, and then triggering that personalized drip email out to them to nurture that lead, to bring them across that finish line. Personalized property recommendation, again, based on what they're looking at. So AI looking at photos. If they, there's an old saying, and I hate the saying because, I've been a buyer now since I've been out of the business, but, buyers are liars. That's not true. Buyers may not know what they like, right? And especially if they're out of town buyers. A house in Fort Myers, Florida, or Cape Coral is much different than Dallas, Texas, when I moved here from there. So again, looking at personalized property recommendations based on what they've looked at, saying, okay, these are the 7 or 8 houses they looked at. Based on those photos, right? This is what we're going to give them as recommendations, right? Not just on bedrooms and baths. Maybe they like a certain look, a certain color, maybe a certain kitchen layout, maybe a certain appliance package. It's going to pick up on those things and say, these have similar things at about 80%. Okay. And then last but not least is the mobile on the go access, which obviously, as we are all on the go, access is crazy important as well. All right. Somebody asked me to stop saying Alexa. I'm probably sitting off their machine in their house. All right. So moving on here. So the next one I've got here is Ylopo. And again, this is AI marketing and branding, automation. They've really put a lot of AI into this. Ylopo's been around for a long, long time. And so they've got automated ads and retargeting. So that's one of the hardest things, right? Unless you really understand Facebook marketing or any kind of online marketing and lead conversion. If that's not your forte, and by the way, if it is your forte, you should not be selling real estate, right? There's really two different personality types. If you're that techie, you understand the Facebook, Instagram, and Google algorithms and how to make that thing tick, go do that, because there's very few people that know how to do that really well. But again, what Ylopo does is AI creation of these ads and features listings and branding for you. It's also got their Rhea, which is their AI assistant, which is a chatbot that immediately engages new inquiries via text or email. Again, it's always speed to lead, so it's always been the challenge. I can go out and get 400 leads to come into a funnel, but how fast can I turn around and interact with that person where it seems real, right? So it doesn't seem fake. It doesn't seem like it's a robot. And that's where AI is going. It's going from being what used to be just a robot and everybody got the same kind of generic message versus now looking at the IP address and having the chatbot go say, hey, welcome, Jason. I see that you're looking at houses in New York City. What's going to bring you from, is this going to be a permanent house or vacation home? And I'll say vacation home. Fantastic. How the weather today in Fort Myers, because that's where my IP address is. So being really intentional about those types of things is what these programs are doing. Behavioral alerts, again, the platform monitors clients' behaviors on IDX website. So where I go, how often I go, all those things, I believe. And again, I don't work in any of these companies, but that's what you need to build a scoring system. So it may be a next step for them, and then branded content also for automation. So some really cool stuff going on in the Ylopo world as well. And again, I'm not saying that you go out and buy these things. I'm saying to go look at them if you're looking for leads. Each one of these things have something different to offer you. And so this depends where your business, your business needs are. Some people might be sitting there going, I don't need leads. I need X. So we'll get to what X is probably for you. Next up is Ojo Labs. This is AI-powered lead concierge service, a little bit different. Their claim to fame is AI chat assistance for customers. Again, that's becoming very popular. If your website does not have it, again, I said, at the beginning of it, I said, is AI going to take my job? No, but somebody else using AI will. Those chat bots are very popular. If you don't have one in your website, something you should be looking at really, really hard. People expect that. I was able to change a hotel reservation this weekend through a chat bot to a point, and then had a customer service rep call me right from that hotel to change it. I also had an issue. I was able to do a chat bot to set up an appointment for my Cadillac to get serviced, right? We kind of expect it sometimes. I did that from an airplane, right? So I couldn't make a physical phone call, but I needed to get an appointment on. I was able to make that appointment directly online with the chat bot. Human concierge handoff, when the AI has sufficiently qualified the lead, it hands it off to you, the human being. So human to human is where the relationship starts to forge. Pre-qualified referrals. Again, agents receive clients who have been nurtured and often appointment ready, and that's what you want to focus your time on. If you just focus on 400 leads, you're not going to do it very well. But if you can pull out the 30 that are ready to transact quicker and focus on building that relationship and helping that human out, your business is just going to grow. And then no upfront cost model. So they have a couple different models. Only charges a referral fee. So that's something where somebody says, I don't want to spend X amount of dollars in my business, This only you pay when you close. So again, referral fee model, no upfront cost. I kind of like that. I was talking to some agents last week in Toronto who use it, and we're very, very happy with it and the progress that they made with it. All right, next is Revaluate. This is an AI predictive analytics for seller leads. So again, we talked the last three kind of like buyer leads, although some of it will work for sellers as well as a CRM. But this is specifically for seller leads. So this is going to be, they're going to be a move score algorithm. Again, if I could make billions in this industry if I knew exactly everybody that was actually thinking about moving or going to move in the next year, right or wrong, right? So that is us. Revelates AI sifts through hundreds of data points and says, okay, these are the people most likely to sell. Now, in our world, you can use Remind for this, right? So we offer Remind Pro if you're going to get this outside of the association, outside of our MLS, Florida Gulf Coast. This would cost you $200 a month. It is provided to you with your subscription to the Florida Gulf Coast MLS as a pro version of it. It will give you some of these data points in there, okay? And so if you don't want to go out and spend the money on something like this is what I would call pro level. I would start using that that Remind Pro that we provide you that you're already paying your subscription dues on. First, it will give you things like equity position. It's going to give you time and property. It's going to give you whether they have a mortgage on it, how long they have to pay on the mortgage, what type of mortgage it was, and you can filter out that stuff just knowing the marketplace and being the professional you are. I would use that and then maybe leap into this as a pro. But this has some really cool things caught my attention. Contact list scanning, so agent upload their sphere of influence or list. Okay, so you can pull it out of Remind and add it in here and reevaluate, analyze it to flag high probability sellers. Again, game changer in the industry today. If you get that thing priced right, what I was looking at this morning, I talked to my team about, is that if house priced right, 6 days in the market, right? So again, you get a lot of great listings from this. Automated alerts and CRM integration. This integrates with a lot of different CRMs that you may already be using. And right through an API interface, we'll be able to integrate with your actual CRM. So that's kind of a cool thing. And then targeted farming list. So beyond an agent's own contacts, it'll actually give you a list of homeowners, geographic areas for farming area who score high and most likely to move. And again, we do that on Remind, and we'll probably do an MLS Monday there in probably December as we start. A lot of people are business planning at this point in time in Q4 for next year. So we will get that on the books and do something on the Remind Pro version. So next year is Folio by Ametry. So this is the AI transaction coordination assistant. So again, I was told agents that if you don't have an assistant, you are one, because we need to have somebody that's going to be able to do some of this stuff for us. So this has email parsing and smart folders. So Folio's machine learning scans your inbox. It detects real estate transactions and then groups them all together, so you're not missing something. If you get a lot of emails, as I do, this comes in really, really handy. I'll have another email tool here shortly. Automated timeline and key data extraction. So again, using its AI engine, it's going to tell you what's important and key date extraction, and tell you when things are due. So it's going to scan your documents and tell you your home inspection is due here, and your limit to or your contingency on financing is here. Task reminders and collaboration. So again, it'll send you reminders, upcoming deadlines, and can loop in assistants or transaction coordinators as well. And then document summaries and fraud detection. So again, it can quickly summarize email threads, documents for quick reading. It's got a whole bunch of stuff in there for documents scanning. Kind of a cool tool. I saw it and I'm like, this is something I'll bring to the table. That's out there. Does a lot of heavy lifting, the stuff that we would normally do manually. They're starting to do automation wise. So next is Live Easy. This is Move Easy, Live Easy, AI backed home concierge for post-move services. So I would say there's the beginning, the during, and the after event of a transaction, of a home sale, of a move. And it's all should surround that sphere of the actual human that's doing it. And this is a really cool tool. So I think a lot of agents lose out on part of that post-transaction that is really gold. That's where the gold is. It's not during the beginning, all that's building that relationship. You have a really good successful transaction, even if it's the most complex thing out there, and you're able to stay in contact and provide services post transaction of things that that buyer of that property may need, or even that seller in some cases. That's important. So this has moving utility step assistance. So Live Easy assist clients in setting up or transferring utilities, internet, and other services. Personalized vendor recommendations. So the system keeps a curated list of service providers. By the way, you can provide it, or it's going to pull out of like a Google review, like X amount of you know 1,000 5-star reviews. It already got on the list, right? For maybe a plumber. Home ownership dashboard. So after moving, clients get ongoing value through dashboard that keeps track of home equity offered, mortgage checkups, reminders, and after remodel value forecast, user predictive analytics, and then lifetime concierge support. So again, Live Easy includes an access to live concierge staff for anything that your customer may need. So kind of a cool thing for after the fact, where we kind of sometimes lose that stickiness. You can still do some very human things, like throw them get to know your neighbor party, which is a fantastic way to be the center and bring people together. And then also, taking them out to dinner, 2 or 3 months after the closing and checking in with them. And then after that, how do you stay in contact with them, right? So this may be one of those solutions that you'll be able to tap into. So Reimagine Home, I love this one. I mean, there's some houses out there, and let's be honest, I mean, they need some work, right? So this is AI virtual tours and staging visualizer. And a lot of people are using already the staging piece, and I give them a lot of credit for that. It does get a lot more views. If you look at the analytics behind what I call rich media, and I'm going to take a little kind of a detour here for a second. Rich media is anything other than just pictures. So it's floor plans, right? It's virtual tours. It's Matterport, right? It's single property websites. Those are rich media, things that you attach within the MLS that gives that consumer additional things that get syndicated out to third-party websites. It stops the scroll. It gets higher SEO from those portals, right? A listing coming in with just 10 or 15 pictures gets less attention from their algorithm than a property coming in with 35 photos, a virtual tour, a video flyover, and a floor plan, right? So we provide that floor plan for free within their Cubicasa, so you can get that, stop the scroll. When agents call and they're upset because their property's been on the market, and is it getting syndicated? Can you check on this? Is it really showing up on your site? Those types of things. One of the things we always look at is, does it have a floor plan? Because that's a simple way for you to stand out when people are scrolling the internet for property. So with that, you've got Reimagine Home here. It's in virtual staging. Can upload a photo, an empty, sparsely furnished room, and Reimagine Home's AI will fit all the stylish furniture in there. Style customization, decluttering, so a tool to declutter the house, right? Remove clutter and personal items from photos. I had a lady that back in the day, she collected roosters. I called it the rooster house, hundreds and hundreds of roosters. I'd have loved to have a tool to take some of these roosters out of the house. 3D floor planning and tours. So again, they help you generate 3D floor plans. We also have Cubicasa if you don't want to spend the money on something like this. And then client collaboration features. We can share Reimagine Home outputs with clients. I thought this thing was kind of cool. I saw a demo. The cool part for me was like that house that nobody can imagine a wall being down, like that type of stuff. The totally like reimagine a new kitchen. And again, you can't advertise that as being the house currently, because the house currently is the house currently. But having that in some materials and using those photos, maybe on a brochure, to say this is what it could be. And oh, by the way, I partnered already with the general contractor, and this is what the cost is. Could sometimes move that house that otherwise wouldn't move. All right, on to Sidekick, AI virtual assistant and communication scheduling. So another really cool AI tool. Email and text messaging management. Sidekick AI will read incoming client emails and texts and draft contextually appropriate replies. Again, you have to send it, but it kind of comes up with the reply the way you talk by scanning your email. So it doesn't sound AI-ish. If you read some stuff, it sounds AI-ish, and you're like, oh, that doesn't sound like me. This actually looks the way that you do your outbox and says, this is how you sound. I'm going to write it like you are. But you have to go in there and actually hit send. It's got automated follow-ups if a client hasn't responded or needs nurturing. Psychic sends polite follow-up messages. Hey, by the way, you haven't sent this in. We're still waiting on this. Those types of things will help you. Appointment scheduling is integrated with the agent's calendar, so AI can propose meeting times, schedule showings, and send reminders. And it's got task and priority management as well. Kind of a really cool tool in a different space, which is our time, which is what we exchange for money in real estate, what we really do, right? We sell houses, but you're not getting paid by the hour or a salary to do it, right? So time is everything with us. I thought this was a really cool tool and wanted to share it with you guys. All right, so up next here, I'm going to give you guys some AI-powered tools that are not specific to real estate, but I think are really kind of cool and on cutting edge. Some of these are free trials. Some of them are actually very, very inexpensive. So you just have to go out to the website. If you Google any of these, you should be able to find them. They're out there. So, and I took kind of the best of the best with regards to reviews and some things that I use personally, which we'll talk about as well. So Keeper Tax is automated expense tracking and deduction finder. Again, I think that this is something for real estate professionals out there as you're going through and you're buying the lunches and you're putting gas in your car and all this other stuff. Tracking expenses always becomes an issue, even if you're traveling. This is not real estate specific. So like myself, I travel for the FGC MLS. So keeping track of some of that expenses there too. Flyfin, I love this. This is AI tax preparation, which is kind of cool, but also expense scanning. So it kind of goes through your expenses, scans what's there, scans what's not there, kind of gives you kind of a forecast as an independent contractor, right? If you got to pay quarterly, so this kind of gives you that. If you got a good tax professional, do not replace them with AI. A good tax professional is worth their weight in gold, and always get tax preparation professionally done as well. But this is a good way to keep tracking the stuff you need to track, and gives you some kind of preparation. Doesn't do your taxes for you, but it'll prepare you to go see the tax person that you use, your CPA as well. So Hurlar is all-in-one expense, income and mileage tracker. Good way to track commissions. Good way to track your mileage and your expenses. This is one of my favorites. I use it personally. It's one of my absolute favorites. Is I don't need to track mileage anymore, but I can scan receipts and all that kind of stuff. I think it's good for that as well. So you can keep those expenses as well. So next one on here is Everlance. This is automatic mileage and expense tracking with AI deductions. Again, it's basically tracking where you are on GPS. So as you're driving people around, you worry about what did I start at, what did I end at. It automatically pulls that information together. It also does expense tracking, and it does it with AI deduction. So it'll walk you through kind of a tutorial of who you are, what you do, and then you'll be able to use it to do those types of things. So kind of a cool deal there. Next is Expensify. Again, this is smart receipt scanning, expense management. I like this. I've used it. It's kind of a cool good little system to pull that off. And again, it's all driven off of artificial intelligence. Good call. So there's been a lot out there. NAR's got a incubation program that they do, and they used to throw a conference every year. And a couple of years ago, I went to a conference in Miami where this conference was held. And I went to it, and then they basically give out scholarship dollars for those companies that win the contest. And it's basically a pitch session, right? So these companies come on stage, they pitch their software. There's judges there in the audience, and you submit your vote. And there was an AI company there that was absolutely crazy, cutting edge at the time, right? And it was basically answer your phone. So it would answer your phone. It would give them a message that the phone call is being recorded, right? Because you need that for legal disclosure. And then everything you talked about, if you say, hey, Mark, I'm going to be over at your house on Tuesday at 3:00, and we're going to go through and walk through this document, and I'm going to send you an email on this document, and it does all that stuff. when you hung up, it put that information in your calendar and it would do all this stuff for you. So that kind of a cool little system that would allow you to travel in a car, not have to pull over, write notes and stuff. It would track all that stuff. And if you didn't trust the automation, then you could just have the actual phone call, that recording, and then go through and manually do all the stuff you need to do. So kind of a cool thing here. This Good Call, kind of the same thing. So it's AI phone answering. It's going to answer your call. It's lead capture services. So people are calling on your sign if there's a special number it goes to, those types of things. So Good Call's kind of that. And on my sheet that I'll send to you guys, I've got the company that did that pitch session of one as well. It's on that sheet. Next is Smith AI. So this is AI enhanced receptionist. This is calls, chat, and SMS. Again, if you don't have something on your website, or if you need something to do calls and chat and then your actual messages back and forth, this program here is incredible. It's not cheap, right? So if you're running maybe a team or you've got an office, this is a good software for you to maybe invest in to help you with that. All right. We're doing good on time, and we've got a couple more we're doing here as well. So next one I got here, and this is kind of cool. This is lead nurturing and assistant for real estate. This is real estate specific. Structurally is what it's called. Asa Holmes is a person that created it. And it's, again, lead nurturing assistant for real estate. Just nurtures your lead. So if you don't have time to do any of that stuff, if you're so busy that you're just running and gunning, or you got multiple things that you're doing, this will help nurture that lead for you to get it from the top of the funnel down to the bottom, where it can turn into an actual sale. Really cool program there. And last is Tidio, which is an AI chatbot for customer engagement. Again, if you don't have one on your website, or your website company doesn't provide one for you, or have one that you can upgrade to and purchase through them, none of that stuff is free, then this may be the way to go, is use Tidio. It's a good little thing there. Moving along here with some more AI stuff. So next thing I want to go into is probably the biggest issue I see with real estate. And that is just the amount of communication that we get. Whether it's emails, which is probably number one, and text messages. I'm going to focus on the email problem we have. And the problem we have is that we just get way too many emails. Not only do we get personal emails, a lot of people want to have one email address, so they have their personal and their business combined. So now you get 10 times more emails than you used to. Some people have multiple inboxes they have to manage. So you end up with these multiple different management platforms. It may be all Gmail related or Google Business, but you've got all these different inboxes that you've got to manage. So it's never easy. And if you're a broker out there, you may have a broker at abcrealty.com that may be your generic inbox for your brokerage, which everything goes to. You may have your own, which is Jason at abcrealty.com, and then you may have your personal, right? So now you have 3 or 4 mailboxes. So mailboxes are an issue. We get a ton of email. A lot of people put things in writing, and that's the form that they use to put things in writing. They use email. So these are some fixes to that. Now, Fixer.ai, which is the top center box there, and these are the logos. You get a picture of this and do some research on it. Fixer AI is what I've been using. So it is really, really good. It not only manages the actual inbox for your email, and it works on multiple inboxes. So you pay the subscription for it, which I don't remember what it is, but you can look at it. You do get a free trial. I think it's 15 days. But what it does is it actually puts it into different boxes. So you got a box that's just marketing. So let's say in your personal email, you go out to and you buy a lot of things and you get to sign up to get the discount, or you buy your Men's Warehouse stuff, or you buy your Stitch Fix, or whatever you're getting. All this stuff you constantly get marketed from people, right? Those will be flagged as marketing. They got their own flag. They got their own mailbox, so to speak, and they pull those out. Those aren't important. And it's going to rank them. They're going to have a lot of different emails that you got there. And then it's going to have in there, you can have it talk about real estate. So if that's real estate related, it goes in real estate folder, right, with a flag on it. The flags are different colors, and you can customize all that, setting it up. I set it up very generically out of the box originally. and I'm running personal email only through it. So it'll separate things that I need to respond to, anything from my financial advisor, anything that has to do with a vacation I'm taking, if it's a cruise, you can customize all that. I set it up out of the box in probably 15 minutes. And then as I got used to it, I started customizing it and tweaking it out. They do have a learning center for you to go out there and actually find out more about it. So you can actually really leverage it for it to really segregate out your email. At the end of the day, I would tell you the stuff that's important in my email out of 800 emails a day is probably 3 or 4 things that I need to really deal with. It will craft a response to an email. It does not send it out until you go in there and review it. And it does type it and write it like I talk. So it does not sound AI. Nobody would know unless I told them that my mailbox is being managed by AI right now. It is. So I like it. Again, it's not, some of the stuff is not cheap. I don't remember what the cost is on it, but I remember going, okay, it's like $50 a month. But it's worth the time I'm saving, right? For $600 a year, I don't have to worry about it. And then the marketing stuff that goes in there is truly marketing. So it's all the stuff I bought the last 10 years, right? Or the dealership has a special on, on oil changes or something. All that gets funneled in that marketing piece. So depends on who you are. It's a great way to unsubscribe to that stuff that you no longer use or need. Or it's a way for you to go through there and see if it's something that's important to you and delete it, or just go in the box and highlight and delete the whole thing if you're not interested in that. But it does pull it out, and it's really, really good at that. I was actually shocked by how accurate it was pulling things out. Next to that is Jace. I've not used Jace. Jace is a comparative to Fixer.ai. And I'll tell you, when you look at their ads on Google, Jace, says it's a more inexpensive version of Fixer, yada, yada, yada. So they're truly competitors to one another. It does the same exact thing as Fixer.ai. Next there is Pilot Inbox, just like you would think. That is also mailbox thing. I looked at that when I was going through my search. It is good. The one thing I didn't like about it, and the thing that Fixer has, and I believe Jace does have as well, is it will work on Outlook, it will work on Google, it'll work on any of those mailboxes. So if you've got stuff, if you ever get to a point where you're using Outlook, or you got multiple email addresses, maybe you have multiple businesses you own, this is a great way for you to have that segregation as well. And I like the fact that Fixer and Jace both worked on Outlook and Gmail. Pilot Inbox is mostly Gmail. Copilot, opposite of Pilot Inbox, is mostly just Outlook, right? It's Copilot and Outlook together, kind of integrated together, and they work well together, but they are together. And so it's Microsoft. And, that if you just use Outlook, that may be one that you want to look at. And then the last one is Hey Help. Again, another great platform. I looked at that when I went through my process of trying to fix my inbox. And, I think Fixer just, for me, was just a better fit. So some of it comes down to personal choice. But all of these are email for you. And I think that if you just did do out there and look at it, at least I narrowed it down to 5 of them. And really the top 2 there, Fixer and Jace, are probably the 2 that most people do sign up for. But just the time I've spent, and I can tell you, I didn't use it back in real estate, but I can imagine the amount of time and the frustration and everything else I'd have that I would solve for that just by having the simple software on that. So next here, I am going to go ahead and pull up. So this is all personal AI assistants. And so these are all companies that do that. And when you look at personal assistants or AI assistants, they do a lot of things. They could do everything from marketing, right? So some of these, like ClipUp AI and Udo, which is on the bottom right-hand corner of my screen, those both do things like marketing, right? So they'll actually can do things that integrate with, for example, Canva, right? And be able to do the marketing with that. So for your flyers, for your marketing, your door hangers, whatever you're doing marketing-wise, those 2 softwares have that integration built into it. Some of them have financial integration built into it. So it can build you, cost structure websites, or spreadsheets. It can put together kind of a P&L for your business, right? The problem with real estate is a lot of agents don't run it like a business and have a P&L. So this will actually do that for you. And what's cool about it is you take that and then go back into AI, like a chat GPT, if you will, and throw it in there and do a budget for next year. It'll actually take that cost structure you had in the different categories and do a budget and tell you how many houses based on your GCI that you have to do and build you this kind of, blueprint, if you will, the future of what you can do. So some of these have email and phone in them. But if you think of what you would use an assistant for, it pretty much these all do all of that, or some do some better. So you want to go out, you want to do your due diligence on this stuff as well. Again, free trials are there for you. But what I would tell you to do is sit down and think about the 5 or 6 things you spend time on that if you had a human or a computer that would do it for you, that you would be better off and you'd be able to save some of this time and energy and money, because time is money for you, and be able to pawn some of this stuff off, right? And then as you start to use some of this other technology like mileage tracker, stuff like that, where are you putting that? Well, if you got an Odoo and you're using that, you can throw it right in there. It'll pull your mileage up. It's going to organize it for you. It's going to organize your files. You look at stuff like duplicate files on your computer. Some of these will actually go out and look at your computer and say, you got all these duplicate files of all these different things. So there's a lot of stuff there that you can actually leverage with regards to it. All right, so a question came in. What about a 2 to 3 hours hands-on? Try to get these as you walk us through. I mean, that's a great idea. We could definitely look at that. But I mean, it depends what people have, right? I mean, if everybody picks a different software, it's kind of hard. So one of the things that we did for the last 2 years, and I would recommend you guys mark your calendars. We're going to have TechCon again. We had TechCon for the last 2 years. The first year we did it, we had a rebar camp. And we basically, the rebar camp is RE bar camp, so it's real estate bar camp. The idea is you sit there and you collaborate. We didn't have a lot of use on that piece of it. The second year we got rid of it, made the stage bigger, brought higher end speakers in, and did it that way. This year we are toying with the idea to do kind of an AI meetup, and kind of have some AI stuff early on in the day. So maybe starting the TechCon a little bit later, and then actually doing the AI stuff, so that we can talk about some of this and doing some of these demos there, and showing how this stuff can actually work to get you set up. But yeah, this is the future of what's happening. I mean, the time and money you'll save in order to run your business is, to me, super exciting. Maybe by subject, yeah, that's an option. We could definitely talk maybe offline and figure out how we can make it work. I'm fine with that. I mean, we're here to help you guys. What are your top 3 AI tools you think you should look at getting into today? So that's a great question. I definitely think that something to tame your inbox, if that is an issue, and a lot of people don't say it's an issue. They get on their phone and they'll be scrolling email all the time. Well, who are you in front of? Are you in front of friends and family that you're doing that? You're in front of your kids and you're scrolling email, right? So we always feel we're attached to this box in our hands. So I felt a big relief when I went to Fixer and I got my email under control. And that's all personal email. I couldn't imagine what it would do if I was back in the space of real estate. So I would say emails first and foremost. And then I would figure out what kind of chat GPT or AI you want to use in your everyday stuff. A lot of this is very powerful, that you can create the right prompts. And we're looking to do a prompt MLS Monday on chat GPT prompts to actually set the prompt. So how do I make my artificial intelligence platform, whether it's chat GPT or it's Google's or it's X has their own now, how do I make the prompt so I can make it really dance? Because understanding that, I think, is powerful. If you understand how to actually write the prompt and what it means, then you can really make it work for you. So writing descriptions is important, right? Creating flyers, creating all kinds of stuff that you would normally have to take hours and hours and hours to do. Maybe it's somebody, maybe you like to do video, but you don't know what to say. I sat with an agent that was in a class a couple of weeks ago, And she asked me the question. I said, why don't you just feed in the topic in an AI? And she had ChatGPT on her phone, and she says, I want to do a video of me talking to the camera about this topic. I don't remember what the topic was, but it needs to be 45 seconds. And it came up with a gorgeous script, right? And then you got on your phone, you can download really inexpensively, kind of a teleprompter for your phone. So she could copy that, paste it in teleprompter, have that phone in front of her. The script's rolling. She's speaking into the phone. Nobody knows she's reading a teleprompter. And she's done 3 or 4 videos, sent me an email thanking me for that, because now she knows what to talk about. She can think about the topic, but don't know what to say. So what are the top 4 things a buyer needs to know in Cape Coral buying waterfront, right? There's all kinds of stuff out there AI is going to pull together. You're the professional, you know what that should be and shouldn't be, right? And again, you don't want to hallucinate. There's all these hallucinations, but validate what you're getting back. And then once you validate it, you can make that into that video script. So, but back to the question. So I think email is important. Having a platform you can put some commands into to start to do automation on marketing, I think is important. And I'm always fascinated with the lead scoring. If you're getting a lot of leads or you can't generate a lot of leads, if you don't know how to, some of those first programs that we went through will be able to help you with those types of things. So I think that would be kind of cool. Is the AI scoring. That to me fascinates me, because I remember making calls to everybody. Not everybody's ready, right? And you get people that are just rude and you take them off your list. Well, as AI looks at their behavior, they're going to say, okay, they may have been rude 22 months ago, but today they're acting like a true buyer, right? So I think that that's important. I'm going to wrap up with a couple things, and the AI tool thing is one of the things I want to do here. So I want to send this into you guys here as a PDF. So I'm going to try to do that while we're talking here. But this is the list of all the stuff we kind of went through. And so you guys can take something away on this as well. So I'm going to see if I can put it in the chat, and that way you guys have it. We got a couple questions came in. Next, AI robots to show properties to buyers. I don't know. I mean, I think that the humans will have, in my opinion, kind of a limit in which AI is going to be able to help people. I know there's some people out there very comfortable with purchasing a vehicle from whoever, right? From online, whatever. And that's fine, right? That's fine. But at which point does that become a problem, right? At which point does that become an issue and people don't want to deal with? That's a Word version. Hopefully you guys can see that. Does it become a problem? I mean, I think that at some point in time, they're going to have limits. I don't know if robots will show. I mean, they might. But again, I feel like the biggest investment you're ever going to do, you want that interaction with a human being. I mean, if you look at all the industries that have either been threatened by internet or technology, hopefully you found this valuable for you in your business and how you can leverage it. It is here to stay. It's not a fad. I mean, people are putting a lot of money behind development, and I can tell you that things are only getting better with the actual artificial intelligence that we're seeing. But I think that this technology is getting stronger and better. If you look at like the staging that they do with artificial intelligence, it looks more real today than it ever did. Photos look more real today that are done by artificial intelligence just on the screen. There's videos that you'll see on social media that you'll see a plane, nose of a plane kind of come falling apart. It's all AI driven, but it looks like a real plane. It's got a tail number on it that's real. So there's those types of things I think that it'll become an issue where AI maybe not great, right, for us, because it becomes believable. There was some AI pictures done with some celebrities that people said, they had a picture of themselves walking through a street with a celebrity, and it was not real. So AI is getting better, right? So there's manipulation that can be done with it. I think for the purpose of our industry, I think there's a lot of positive stuff to it. We're starting to see more robust descriptions in the MLS, which again helps drive that information. A lot of people don't believe that consumers read. I can tell you firsthand, consumers do read. We get calls on it all the time. We get complaints about it all the time, saying, why don't these agents put more stuff in their listings? But I can also tell you as a consumer myself, I do read the descriptions. I do read the information that's out there, because, you know, visually the pictures are great. You know, understanding what's in the property, what's included, or what the agent's insight is important to me, right? With that, I want to thank you for joining us today. Hopefully you found some value. Hopefully you can join us next week for the new MLS matrix enhancements that are coming out, which includes the CMA. And then at the end of the month on the 27th is the MLS, the horrors of MLS, the spooky stuff about MLS. So that would be a fun one. Join us there. And you guys have yourself a fantastic week and be safe out there. Thank you.